So, Sean, we had a little bit of a winter weather over the weekend. Tell me a little bit about how Sandy Neck fared during the storm.
So overall, Sandy Neck fared very well in the storm. We were lucky enough that the storm was really only lasted about 24 hours. So even though we had pretty strong winds, they died down fairly quickly, which didn't allow the surf to really kick up. So especially around the public beach, there wasn't any erosion. We had a little bit further down the beach, but really nothing too bad. And then we had to spend the rest of the time cleaning up the storm debris, making sure that the beach was safe for everyone to get back out on. And once the snow melted a little, we were able to open back up. So the beaches open up again for everyone to head on out there if they have a valid permit right now.
Absolutely. And I know there was some concern on Sunday about the high tide. Of course, we had a full moon. So how did things fare during the high tide? Still not a problem at all?
Yeah, it was still, overall, the tide did go up to the dunes in many areas. Obviously, it wasn't safe to be driving out there at that point. But as far as erosion goes, the beach looks pretty good still. So.
Excellent. Well, we like it when that happens. I know
exactly.
that last year we had so many prolonged storms and it was just beating after beating after beating. It's kind of hard to keep up with that, so it's nice to have a little space in between some of that weather.
Yes, definitely.
Absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about permits. As you mentioned, the off-road beach is still open to people. 2015 permits. When do they expire?
Yeah, so oftentimes there's a little bit of confusion around this time of year. We get calls with people asking to purchase a new permit for the year, but those permits from 2015 are actually valid until April 15th of this year. That's when our permits sort of switch over. So if you purchased a sticker for the 2015 season, you can still use that until April 15th of this year. It's just important to remember that this is the off-season, so we do have some as far as curfew goes and things like that, there's a few differences between what a lot of people are used to in the summer. So the beach does close earlier at 8 p.m. You have to be through the gatehouse by 6 o'clock if you want to stay out there. And we do allow fires at the moment, so long as they're after sunset. And speed limit's 15 miles an hour out there at this time. And then pretty much everything else that you would expect as far as the rules and regulations are all still in place this time of year. So.
Indeed, and I would imagine, of course, certainly not the traffic that you have during the summer, but it's always fascinating to me. I mean, it's so gorgeous out there this time of year. How busy is it in terms of off-road traffic, and what are people going out there to do? Is it mostly hiking, or are some people fishing?
Yeah, so it's a mix of a lot of things. There's definitely people who do want to come out just to see Sandy Neck. As you said, it's beautiful pretty much all year round. That doesn't change even though the weather gets colder. We get a lot of people coming through to go hiking. The cold weather hiking a lot of people enjoy because it's easier to trek through the sand when it's all frozen. So we get people going out there for that. A lot of wildlife observations. We even get some duck hunters out there every so often. Not too much fishing this time of year, but still quite a good amount of recreation. But overall, it's fairly quiet. You don't usually see more than a few vehicles out there.
Sure.
Except for when there is exceptional weather, which we have had for much of the off-season.
Yes, we've been very lucky with that. So the permits for 2015 go until April. Obviously, we'll need to renew in April for 2016. When are those applications going to be mailed out for the current permit holders?
Yeah, so those applications will go in the mail at the end of February. So if most people that have had stickers last year will be getting an application, and they can just send that right back. All the information is provided in that letter that they'll receive as far as what you need to send back in the mail. They still, in their first check through and they come in, they'll have to get an inspection just like all other vehicles that would come to the gatehouse and purchase a sticker or a permit. And the gatehouse will be opening back up April 1st. So if somebody doesn't receive an application in the mail, they're still welcome to come down to the gatehouse after April 1st and come in to purchase a new permit for 2016.
Great, and I think that's really smart to let people know that you do, even if you have held a permit in the past, you still have to get that check to make sure you've got all the equipment and everything that you need to be able to get that permit. Because people might get a new car, or you might not have everything with you all the time. So certainly very important. Is the price structure changing at all this year, Sean, for permits?
For the off-road permits, there is not going to be a price change. So it'll be what it was last year. So for Barnstable residents, it'll stay at $85, and for non-residents, it will be $170 for the season permit.
Wonderful. And right now, I think that obviously we're getting towards the tail end. So if you don't have a permit, it might be smart to kind of wait until April to get one. But if you do, really have the urge to go out there, can you still get a permit for 2015? And is there a different price structure for that?
Yes. So we still actually surprisingly have had a few people recently coming in to purchase 2015 permits. One of the reasons, obviously, the weather's been nice enough, but it is important to remember that those only are valid until April 15th, but non-resident price right now is $50 for that, and the Barnstable price is $25. So still can be a fairly good deal in many people's eyes if they can get a few good days out of it before the start of the new season.
Exactly. Enjoy a little off-season Sandy Neck. So, Sean, let's talk a little bit about, this is really cool. When you sent me this, I'd never seen anything like this before, the access mat that's going to be put at the bottom of the handicap ramp. Tell me a little bit about, what this access ramp will do for the beach.
Yeah. So we're really excited to be able to get this mat out there this year. Big thanks in part to the Barnstable Disability Commission for their generosity in helping us to purchase this mat. It is designed basically how we're going to use it as this nice gap that goes from the end of the handicap ramp all the way out to basically the high tide line where the sand gets a little easier to walk on. So even though we've had all kinds of good ways for people to access the beach in the past, we're always trying to move forward with that and make sure we're up to date with everything that we can so that everyone has, equal opportunities for recreation at the beach. So this mat really provides access for everybody, from anyone in a wheelchair to even people that just have difficulty walking in soft sand. So it's a nice, lightweight, easy to roll out mat that we can put out for the season, and everyone will be able to have a much easier time to get out there. Even though we do have the beach wheelchairs, which make a big difference on the sand, even sometimes people pushing those wheelchairs have a lot of difficulty in that really soft sand.
Yeah, it can be really tricky. And we've got a picture of it up on the screen right now so our viewers can check it out. And what I think is cool too is that it's such a bright color that I think it really makes it obvious that the mat is there, that people can walk on it. Because it can be, it can be tricky to walk on sand. It can be hot, but it can also be, really unstable. So, getting people as close to the water as they can in all abilities, I think that's really fantastic. And so you said it's not permanent. It's something that you can just roll out at the beginning of the season and then roll back up. Is it going to be in place? When are you anticipating it's going to first be put in place?
Yeah, it's pretty much at the start of the season whenever we get it, we're hoping to put it out there and have it out there as much as possible. Definitely for the entirety of the sort of peak season of activity at Sandy Neck, and hopefully further than that. What's nice is that we can sort of leave it out as long as possible, and if there is a big storm predicted to hit, we can just pull that up, roll it up, and store it during that time. It's pretty simple. It just rolls out, and it has some large stakes that go into the ground that keep it nice and secure, which is another awesome aspect of it.
Fantastic. We'll have to come and check it out once that gets put in place. It'll be nice to see that.